Live from my backyard in Bellevue, Washington, this is the Podworm Spacecast. The Podworms are 7 lifelong friends who, just like a Slack channel to help you to know your coworkers, will trap you into an awkward one-on-one conversation with day-old QFC donuts. Welcome to the Spacecast.
Wow.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Podworm Spacecast. We are outside in the beautiful, fresh air. It's about 60-some degrees. It was 80-something today.
Yeah. Degrees. I think 68.
Is that what it feels like right now?
Yeah, I'm getting a 69, yeah.
Okay, nice.
Oh, really, Mike?
Okay, perfect. And that's why I want to be outside, to experience the beautiful 69-degree weather.
Oh, yeah, my favorite temperature.
But before we talk any more about 69ing, let me introduce you to the Podworms you have on the show today. We have our stepdad. He's half of the Deadly Brother duo. He is just an all-around swell guy. I like to know him as my friend. But you know him as Mike McCoy.
Stepping into a Deadly Brother roll call, and it's ending.
We have our little buddy, a master of all things historical. He's one of the most knowledgeable people I know, Jim Charters.
Hey, happy to be here, and I'm knowledgeable.
And we have Peter Fries.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, why don't I introduce the guy who's on the mic? His name's Andrew, and he's a fucker.
For a moment, I thought maybe this was like leading up to like you telling us something really bad is happening.
Yeah.
Like you're like giving us like final like
That's our final sign off.
I thought it was going to be like followed up by, and this is going to be my last Podworm Spacecast episode.
So bad news. I went to the doctor.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
And I had this weird kind of like growth underneath my taint area.
Oh,
And-
interesting.
Unfortunately, well, the good news is, yes, it can be removed. No problem. It's not
thank God.
cancerous.
Okay, good.
Oh, thank
But the
God.
bad news is he said I have to give up podcasting forever.
Oh, it was caused by podcasting?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Jeez.
So
It's not like we could get you a better chair or anything like that.
Was it a chair thing?
this is my
or-
swan song.
Okay.
So for my final episode, this isn't the final episode of the pod because
No, no,
obviously
no.
we have
Yeah.
The pod must go on.
The
You
pod
are
must go on.
the most replaceable.
right. But I wanted to
Easily.
I wanted to be joined by just the people on the pod who I feel the closest with.
Yeah.
You might say are the core 4.
Right. And,
Yes.
And what we did to ensure that is we told Chase, Phil, and Kevin that we were recording at the Base Room studio. I think they're actually over there right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But we came over to my backyard to seek refuge. So
Yeah, I had to turn my phone off. I was getting so many like, where are you guys? Well, we've been here since 6.
yeah, it's embarrassing how pathetic they are.
So pathetic.
I bet you're wondering what we have going on the show today. Let me tell you. We have some pod mail. We have a new game called Change My Mind. We'll learn why Mike was late to the recording. And by popular demand, we will end the show with a round of historical truths or dare. Don't goddamn say it.
but it's historical truths or dare. How can we not?
You're right.
Yeah.
It's a spooky.
Look,
Okay,
it's
come on.
the last episode.
One spooky for the whole.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Spooky.
You know
we
what?
never just say spooky though.
What's the deal
That's
with that?
fucking weird. Spooky.
Yeah.
We go ooh, or we go historical truths or dare.
I say spooky all
You
the
know,
time.
that-
Whatever.
That feels like being naked for no reason. Like when I'm doing
What?
something where I need to be naked, like
Like what?
pooping, showering.
Wait.
Hold
Hold on.
on a second.
Standing
you
at the
pause?
urinal.
Right.
Yep.
Do you, at work, do you disrobe entirely when you poop?
Well,
Is that why they have that little hook up in the stall for you to hang your clothes
right.
on?
I have the garment bag where, you just take everything off.
Do you have a pair of flip-flops that you keep with you so that...
My shower shoes.
yeah, so that when you're taking a shit, you're not just touching the...
No, it's like the hotel slippers that you get. Like ones that are too small.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, like in that situation, it's appropriate to be naked. But other times,
Yeah.
like when you're just randomly naked, it feels so weird. It's like, what am I doing naked
When are
right now?
you-
I need to put
Yeah.
clothes back on.
When are you randomly naked?
Like if you just get out of the shower and you spend, like there's a grace period where you just got out of the shower. It's okay. Be naked for a little bit. But that's maybe 6-7 minutes max.
Six,
Before
7 minutes
shame,
max.
shame should
Hold on.
start settling back in.
What is naked? if I have a towel wrapped around myself and I'm just hanging out
That's
on the
not
couch.
naked.
naked.
Not naked though.
Not naked.
Not naked.
You're wearing a towel.
Does not count.
Okay, I'm just trying to understand.
Gauge his nakedness.
Yeah.
You guys,
Fully naked.
when I moved into my new house, I had to cut down on the amount of nakedness because
Jim. Oh, nakedness is your favorite thing.
It's a real big struggle because my house is so small and the bathroom's downstairs, so I can't just be upstairs in the upper level where people can't see me naked for a longer period of time than 6 or 7 minutes. And so I have to clothe myself either in a robe or a towel so that people on the street can't see me when I'm like walking upstairs to try to put clothes on.
So you're
It's really like put a huge kink in my routine.
You're not an exhibitionist then.
It's put a kink in your kinkiness.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
I don't know. That's pretty good.
Yeah. But I don't remember how we got there, but the bottom line is,
You were talking about how you love to be naked in public.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about.
yes, you can't exceed 7 minutes though, because then it's uncomfortable. And right, that's what saying spooky without the context is like.
Oh, okay.
It's like being naked, but just without a reason.
Yeah, I could see that.
Thanks.
Well,
I'm glad we could come to an agreement.
I think we all feel a little naked right now.
Yeah.
So let's get to some pod mail. But before we get to that,
Yeah.
most of my anecdotes on this show, they're fresh. They're in the last week or so. I write them down on my notes app on my phone as they happen to me. But this anecdote actually happened a mere hour before we started recording today.
Really?
Whoa.
Wow.
This is amongst the most fresh content that this mic has ever heard.
What?
So,
Mike?
Mike, right, this mic. That mic.
That mic. Keep in mind that I also have really fresh content. So
Hey,
Yeah.
that content's getting more stale by the minute. you
Yeah,
guys.
so let's
Yeah.
get
You
to the
better get to
content.
Okay, sorry. Right. So when I was riding the bus, whenever I ride the bus, I am not really a sitter. Even if there's an open seat next to somebody, I prefer not to sit. It's just like, I don't mind sitting next to somebody. And the thing is, everybody's just kind of like an everyday commuter kind of thing. And so they're not going to just be all weird about it. They're used to people sitting next to them on the bus. It's how
Sure.
the bus works.
Yeah.
There's
I've seen a bus.
2 seats.
Right.
There's
Right.
two
Two
seats
people.
on the whole
Yeah,
bus.
next to each other.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a sedan. It has 2 seats in it. Oh, wait. No,
It's a
sorry.
coupe.
That's an Uber. My
Oh,
bad.
yeah, right.
I don't know what a bus is.
Easily confused. But I'm just like a standing kind of guy. Is that I would rather just go stand and just kind of be in my own little space, and that's how it usually works.
Are you
Is
one of the guys who stands on the bus without and refuses to hold on to anything so that anytime the bus moves,
you're-
you like move your body massively to compensate
Like you're
for
like
the
you're surfing the bus.
Yeah.
It's like a fucking mosh pit, dude. Just let
And you-
why would I hold on to anything? I got all these people around me.
Yeah, do you like break your
Bodies.
fall by slamming into someone. Oh, sorry, standing on the bus.
Yeah, the human body was made for this.
You know me, just standing on the bus.
Stand on the bus.
Stand on the bus, guy.
Andrew, would you stand on the bus even if it was like 3/4 empty though?
Oh no, if there's like a clearly empty section, I'll just go sit.
I'm the same way.
But typically, I would just stand. If I don't have to be like around crowded. I just don't like the whole claustrophobic thing. Anyway, I just don't really like it. And the other thing too is that, and this is kind of, maybe this is just a me thing, or maybe this is a human thing, but I'm always afraid that someone's going to just say something randomly mean.
No, I
What?
think that's
Like a
you
stranger.
thing.
A stranger.
Why?
Like,
Why?
Okay.
So, I mean, like you just go around living your life.
Yeah.
Okay, judging by the looks I'm getting, this is a me thing.
No.
Actually,
just
can we-
finish your thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Maybe we can do a role play, but please finish your thought.
Yeah.
So I have this thought where you have children,
Yes.
Yes.
you have crazy people.
Right. Yeah.
They're both, they'll say what's on their mind.
Yeah.
Normal people won't.
And
But
are you in the crazy or the children camp?
Neither.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
sorry,
all right.
sorry,
But
sorry.
you might walk past them or encounter them.
Yeah.
And if you like smell bad, a kid's going to say, "Ooh, you're stinky." Or, someone's going to make fun of your shirt or say something like mean about you.
Uh-huh.
Like people have, I have mean thoughts about people, and I assume other people have mean thoughts about me.
Sure,
And
sure.
so I go around life thinking like, I don't want to get in anybody's space and give them a reason to say something mean to me.
Oh, okay, let's try a little role play here. I'll be the guy that you're going to sit down next to, and you be you.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So like maybe ask me if I can see.
You want me to direct it?
Yeah. Can you direct
Okay.
it,
Yeah.
Mike?
All right. And start role play.
Okay. I'm walking onto the bus.
Clop, 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 clop.
I'm taking out my Orchid card.
Swipe.
Ding.
Oh, it looks like I'm low on funds. I'll have to remember to go add someone.
Do you have any cash? This is the bus driver. You're holding up the line.
Oh, yeah. Hang on. Yeah, I actually do. It's in my back pocket. Hang on. One sec. I gotta.
How long is this guy gonna take?
No, sorry, guys. Hang on. Sorry. No, just one second.
I'm in line behind him.
No, see, I never have cash, but today I have cash. It's fine. Hang on. Just give me 1 second here. I'm just gonna reach. Hang on. 1 second here. Oh no, wait. No, I put it in my backpack. Wait, no. Okay, right. It's in the small pocket.
Oh, just get on the bus.
Okay. All right. Now I'm walking onto the bus,
Clop, 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 clop.
and hey, mind if I sit here?
You?
Right, me.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can sit here.
Guess I'll stand. Oh, okay, great. Thanks.
Look at that. It worked.
Oh, okay, that was easy.
Yeah.
Okay, role play over.
Yeah.
Andrew, how do you feel?
That was a big relief. I mean, the part where he questioned me when I asked, "Hey, can I sit here?" and he said, "What, you?" now that part was a little bit confusing to me, but yeah, overall, I felt pretty good about that.
But
Yeah.
he said yes, and he wasn't mean to you.
No,
You put yourself out there.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe this is like just a me thing.
Has anybody ever on the bus or on the street or otherwise just made a negative comment to you, just unprovoked?
They haven't. No. So this is like
There's no history to this fear.
No, so it's just completely
No, this is just-
unbased.
This is just like a me thing, which is
Okay.
fine. Like on
Okay.
this show, there's a lot of stuff that's a me thing, and I accept that. That's fine.
Now I know that if I ever see you on a bus, I will never try and sit next to you because I know in your head you're like, oh, that guy's a fucker.
So this is just a weird me fear. And so today, there's a ton of people getting on my bus for some reason because it's the last bus that goes to the east side from Seattle. And so it's kind of a popular one in general. And a lot of people take it to go to the park and ride. And so it's fairly busy and they're walking straight towards the back of the bus to go fill it up and stand. And I was about to. And for some reason, I had this weird, wasn't even thinking about it. Maybe I had the same realization we had here today, which is like, why am I so weird about sitting? Like, it's just a fucking bus.
Mm-hmm.
And so all the seats are taken except for there's one seat in the accordion section.
Okay.
And so in the accordion of the bus, it's that bend because here in Seattle, we have the super long buses.
I thought you meant sorry, forgive me. I thought you meant the section where people are playing
The polka section.
See, in Seattle, we have a section for the people that
It's
play
a cultural thing.
Yeah. The accordion players.
Right. But there's lots of people in front of me and lots of people still behind me. And so we're filling it up pretty fast. And so there's one seat available and I just had some impulse, no thought even involved. I just sat in the seat.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
Right.
Who are you?
And so not a second and a half goes by. I sit down and there's a guy next to me. He's in like this red sweatshirt. He looks a little bit scraggly.
Okay.
And I couldn't tell if he was a drunk guy, crazy guy, or what he was. But he turned to me and he says, with no irony or humor in his voice,
Okay.
he says, "Of all the hot girls I could have had, I got you." And then, but he's not being funny. Like he's looking at me with actual contempt.
That's pretty funny though.
And then, because he kind of took his earbud out to say this to me.
He took his earbud
And then he looks at me and then he kind of puts it back in. He kind of mutters like, "Jesus."
of all the hot girls.
And I'm
I
like,
could
oh
have
my
had."
God. Like, I feel like absolute shit. Like, this is what I was afraid of. Like, I sit down one time and this random stranger
Oh my God.
disses me.
Oh man.
That is so funny. It's like, yeah, you made it come true somehow.
I think
Yeah, you did.
I willed it into
You
existence.
literally willed it
Definitely
into
did.
existence because that is not a fear.
Put that out there.
Like a lot of your fears, I feel like I can actually really relate to your weird shame stories, or to some degree, or at least understand.
Yeah.
But this one,
No way.
I'm afraid to sit next to people because they might say something mean to me.
Right.
And it happened.
Like I'm afraid to sit next to people sometimes, or I get like nervous about it just because I'm a huge dude and I'm literally going to like take over the spot and sit on them.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a small guy either. And that's
I
probably
know.
what this guy was saying. He's like, oh, instead of getting some nice little fit young lady, I got this big hairy dude. But
I think you might be reading into this a little bit.
what is there to read into? He said all he needed to say.
He did.
But the interesting thing was that there was a woman across from me who she kind of she laughed and I couldn't tell. Like I first thought, because you spend enough time on the bus, there's this kind of thing where the crazy people tend to go on the bus together and they have these conversations because they're the
Yeah.
only people talking on the bus.
They do.
Right.
And they have their meth conversations and whatnot.
At least in Seattle, yeah.
In Seattle, there's a lot of that kind of stuff going on. And so I thought they knew each other. But then during the course of the bus ride, I realized they didn't. And so I couldn't tell if she was just laughing awkwardly because she's like, she thought it was kind of like a joke thing. But I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And so I just kind of sat there
She was in on it.
for 20 minutes, just kind of like, all right, well, I'm not getting up.
She probably just had a separate, funny, mean thought about you. Like it's
Probably.
It's just
like
I
separate-
thought-
Andrew, it's a big conspiracy.
I thought she was
going to
do the 1-2 punch on me.
Yeah. She was going to follow up with another
Like,
zinger.
nice glasses, nerd. But, I don't role play these kind of things in my mind that much, but you do kind of think like, oh, if someone came up to me on the street and did something like they hit me, what would I do? Would I punch them back? Would I do this and that?
Yeah.
You think about these things daily,
But
right?
in this case, like I could have just said like, fuck you, dude, or like, I feel the same way about you. But I did like I was so caught off guard. All I kind of did was I was like I did a closed mouth smile at him.
That's so creepy.
that reaction
Well,
is...
because I was listening to a podcast. My earphones were in, and so I really couldn't hear him. So I was about to take it out because I thought he was gonna like talk to me, and I kind of caught it, and I was like, and I kind of gave him that weird smile,
Dude.
and I just turned away.
Did he say this at full conversational volume or under his... Or
Yeah,
did
the
he
person
mutter it?
across the accordion thing reacted.
Okay.
Did he have earbuds in? Is that right?
He had, yeah.
Did you happen to see if he was listening to the Podroom Spacecast?
You know what? I think he may have been he may have been a space fan.
He probably
Yeah,
was.
he's
You know,
probably a space
he
fan.
knew he'd get on the pod if he said some snarky comment.
Hey, space fans, if you want to get in the pod, send us a pod mail or say something shitty to me in person.
That's right. I think if I was in that scenario and had the foresight of being in that scenario, I'd probably like do something like he says that, and I turn to him and I go, "How do you know I'm not?" And then touch his leg.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I was afraid he was possibly an unhinged guy. Where
Maybe he was afraid you're an unhinged guy.
He is sitting in the accordion section.
I mean,
That's the crazy section of the
Talk
bus.
about unhinged, okay?
he's the kind of guy who he would turn to a fairly large dude, like I was probably a good 4 inches taller than him.
Right.
And turn to me and say something shitty. He's got probably a knife or a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got 2 guns, baby.
Yeah.
True enough.
4 inches taller than him.
4 inches more than him too.
That's right.
That's right.
You know it. Yeah, he had a micro dick. I could tell.
You could tell.
Well, let's.
So you got a couple burns right there. You could have
Yeah,
just
you could
dropped that
throw
on
it
him.
right
If
back.
hey,
You have a micro dick.
Next time I see him.
Next time you see him, recommend this episode.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go. I'll sit right
Have
next
to
to him.
listen all the way up till now to get those burns in.
Well, let's pivot to somebody who does like me and who likes our show. Let's go to some pod mail. This is episode 3 of our ongoing pod mail saga with our fan Clive.
Love Clive.
He's back, baby.
Clive is back. Clive is a fan of the show who wrote into us a few weeks ago. He talked about his movie theater experience. He snuck in some food. We asked him to follow up with us to
Yeah.
clarify some things. He did. We had to clarify on top of the clarification. And here he is yet again. And the best thing about Clive, I have to say, is that I don't know if he knows when we record, but he always sends us the pod mail
he
on the
knows.
day that we record within hours of
That's like
recording.
right before we start recording.
It's truly serendipity. This is a little bit of a long one, so let's just get into it.
All right.
Cool.
Hi, Hi, Pod Wormageddons. He comes up with
Mageddons.
funny names.
Pod Wormageddons.
Pod Wormageddons. I guess that's what it is. It's Clive again.
Pod Wormageddons.
First of all, it blows my mind. It makes my day to hear you guys riffing on something I've sent. It's like getting a shout out from one of your favorite, I don't know, anime characters.
Sick.
Damn. Cool.
And then in parentheses, because anime is less likely to do shout outs, and that makes getting one tons more mind blowing. which is true. It's easier to get on this show than an anime for sure.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, but it's still hard to get on this show. I mean,
Oh yeah, we screen these.
oh yeah. So
yeah.
much. We get so much pod mail that we can't.
Hundreds of mails.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a P.O. box for it. He says, I digress. Sorry. I'm a bit drunk right now.
Good.
So last episode, we were talking about how he got his name from some sort of his brother got his name from a beer or a South African beer called Charles Glass. And so he says, I reckon Charles Glass is a specific make of beer bottle, or maybe it's the guy who came up with the design. The beer has a different name, Black Label. So,
okay.
so his brother was named after the the type of glass, I guess.
Which makes that all the more interesting.
Right. He said he'd be game for a chat on the podcast.
Hell yeah.
Excellent.
So stay tuned for an interview with the one and only Clive soon. And he says one last thing. A while ago, I was cornered at a house party by another guy and asked out on a date. It was so awkward, I basically ran away. A little while before that, I was sitting in a minibus taxi,
Okay.
which is what passes for public transportation around here, and aggressively propositioned by a man old enough to be my father. The dude spent 20 minutes violating my personal space and begging for my number. Whoa, that's kind of hot.
Whoa.
I'm a straight black guy who is about as average looking as you can get. My question is, why did this happen to me? And how can I flip this on its head so the only people approaching me are women? Sadly, it's never been a woman.
No.
I apologize for the lengthy essay. It would have been shorter if I was sober. Keep being the awesome peeps you are, Clive.
Well, first, Clive, your personality shines through in these emails. So no wonder people are coming up to you because you're effervescent. Even
Charming.
digitally, okay?
Charming.
You are a charmer. So one, feel good about yourself. You know who's not getting men to come up and proposition him?
Us.
Andrew.
Yeah. That I just had a guy
The opposite. Yeah.
tell me I was physically disgusting to him.
So keep that. Feel good about it. Anytime you get low, anytime you're feeling not worthy, just cherish that.
Real talk. I've had like in my life, I think one gay guy tell me I was good looking, and that has meant more to me than any
That's
compliment I've received from a woman in my life.
I agree with you. That's probably happened to me once as well.
Like-
and I felt great about it.
Yeah. I mean, so first of all, you're getting some attention, period. That's great. He's not telling you to get away from him on the bus. So I think, yeah, I mean, the guy violating your personal space, that's probably not the
That's
best.
not cool.
But in terms of making yourself appealing to women, I think what women like these days is a guy with neck tattoos. You guys have seen that in the like the
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. All the
like
neck
on
tattoos.
Instagram, right?
The ladies love it.
Like the weird thing is I just been scrolling through Instagram and you just see all these really like attractive models. They're like the influencers and you see these beautiful women. And I'm like, man, who are these guys that get these?
Like you're specifically talking about like Justin Bieber, right?
I mean, Justin Bieber, you got all the
Alec
other,
Baldwin,
I could just go
everyone.
on. I could go on and on and on. But they all got
That's two, right?
They got
That's
neck.
all of them.
They got neck tattoos.
Yeah. Vin Diesel has a neck tattoo.
That's interesting. I haven't thought about this neck tattoo idea.
I mean, people will say that it's like a personality, sense of humor, style. It's not. It's
a-
neck tattoos.
Yeah.
That's
But
all
that's
it is.
also a way of life. So
So I don't want to speak for you guys here on the pod.
No,
right now.
please don't.
So I won't.
Okay.
But I will just, I'll assume that if you were willing to get a Podworm Spacecast neck tattoo, we here on the podcast will pay for it in its entirety.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we will.
And you will be killing two birds with one stone. One, you will forever cement yourself as the number one space fan. I will personally frame a picture of you up in my room. You will be my phone wallpaper.
You'll become the new logo of the Power
Yes.
We'll come visit you.
and not only will that
Oh my
happen,
God.
but you will be incredibly attractive to both men and women.
Right. But
Yeah.
more women,
But more
as per what he was looking for.
The
which is-
ladies
Yes.
love the pod.
and
and
neck
neck
tattoos.
tattoos.
Right.
Yep.
Neck tattoos. I just didn't realize that's where it all came from. What-
You're gonna have to though when you get a neck tattoo, throw out all your turtlenecks because you're not gonna need them.
That's
No,
true.
don't cover it up.
Has anyone ever gotten a neck tattoo that like isn't part of a chest and back tattoo? Do you know what I mean?
Just like a solo neck
Like,
tattoo.
yeah, like there's,
Like
there's
that's
never,
the only
there's-
one that they
Yeah,
have.
there's never a neck tattoo where it's like you know that you're seeing the whole thing. Like it's like just a picture of something on someone's neck. Like the neck tattoo is like lines or designs that are attached to the chest or the back or both.
The people that I think of that have neck tattoos have a lot of other tattoos to begin with. Maybe the design's not connected, but they've already started like collecting tattoos on their body.
It's at least complimentary
Definitely
towards
yeah.
It's like saying
They're running out of room.
it's
They're
like
running out of
saying,
canvas.
hey, you're seeing what's up here. Now why don't you go ahead and see what's down here?
Because can you imagine what it'd be like if I just was like, hey guys, I'm getting a tattoo. Starting with the neck, baby.
and working our way down.
I mean, and I'm talking like full all the way around the neck because there's also like neck kind of behind,
Yeah,
the,
behind
ear,
the
like a
ear,
small
like,
thing.
you know,
There's
Like
that.
you're essentially gonna get a choker but as a tattoo.
Could I get exactly
Exactly that,
like a
but
90s choker? Just tattooed to my neck.
It'll make
Yes.
my neck look longer.
I need that.
Oh yeah, this is a fashion trend that's here to stay.
Oh my God.
You know,
Yeah.
it'd be kind of fun. Shave your head and get a tattoo right on the top, like right in the
the crown?
the flesh yarmulke kind of area there. And so as you bald over time, it reveals itself. And if you kind of forget about it, it'll be like a fun surprise. Like, oh yeah,
I forgot I got that.
I have that tattoo on my head. This is awesome.
Oh man, that'd be so cool. Like a surprise head tattoo that you got. You'd
Yeah.
have to be you'd have
Be
to
really
get
drunk.
it. We'll get it and then roofie yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's important.
And you won't remember like it like healing over the next few days, or that you had to probably shave your head.
Get yourself. Here's what you do: you get yourself into a medically induced coma.
Okay.
They shave your head. They tattoo it. Once your hair's grown back, boom, pop you out of that coma. You're good to go.
Now here's a question. What if you actually never go bald?
Well, then it's gonna
And
be
it's
a
hidden
real
forever.
shock.
To who?
It'll be
Yeah.
until you die, and then the coroner's report is like, huh, head tattoo.
That's
Why
interesting.
did he cover that
Yeah.
up?
Must have been in a gang.
It goes to the same place as Shangri-La and Atlantis.
Ah, yes.
We'll never know.
We'll never know where it went.
to the briny deep.
That's right.
Okay, well, just to recap, neck tattoo for the ladies, top of the head tattoo for yourself in the future.
Yes. That's how you should do it. Also, sorry that some weird guy got right up in your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can empathize, not in the same way, but I feel a spiritual connection.
You
to
know,
that
it'd be some
situation.
real advice. Maybe grow a beard.
A beard. Okay,
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
okay. That's
If you can do it, do it.
yeah.
If you can't, maybe you won't be as
Or-
Tattoo a beard.
oh, even
you
better.
can.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Very
or
good.
tattoo and grow a beard. So once you shave it, you're still good to go.
Tattoo a secret message and then never shave again.
And then let the person
then-
that you love shave it off and see the message.
I would like to hear some follow up from people who have taken our advice over the years here on the podcast, because I like to think they've probably been pretty successful.
They're all.
I'd like to think that we've made a difference in the world. You know,
Andrew, they
think
would
so.
email in, but unfortunately, they've all
passed away. Yeah, that's too bad to hear.
Damn.
Well, Clive, thank you so much for round 3 on the Podmail saga here. I hope the next time we hear from you is live on the pod here on Mike. So if you want to send us a Podmail, pwspacecast@gmail.com is the place to be. Love to have all your Podmail and interact with all the fans. Next up, Mike, you were late for the show today. Please,
Oh wow! Announce it to the whole podcast.
this isn't even
tell
for,
us everything.
for all I care. We can edit this out. I personally need to know why you're late.
Okay, I'll tell you. So I had my birthday recently.
Yeah.
Yep,
Happy
you
birthday,
happy birthday.
Mike.
Happy birthday,
Cool,
Mike.
Thanks, guys. That was really nice of you to
What
say.
are you, 35 now?
No, Peter. But I had my birthday and my license expired on my birthday.
Oh yeah, I'm under that same
Inconvenient.
curse as well.
And I don't know why I decided to, 4 years ago, to go on my birthday to the DOL.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to me, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's been kind of like looming over my head every time that I've used my ID. People are like, "Hey, it's expiring soon. Oh, and happy birthday soon." And it's like, I just don't.
How dare they?
I know.
How dare they?
I know. It's been looming over my head, and I didn't do it on my birthday. We had like kind of a busy weekend, and so we actually went to the DOL today,
Okay.
and Julie and I were going to both get enhanced driver's licenses
Yeah.
so we could travel the globe with ease.
To one country.
With ease,
Two.
though.
He could go to Mexico
Oh,
also.
you could.
Yeah, 2. Thank
Okay,
you.
yeah. Most of North America.
3 if you include the U.S.
True.
True.
That's not
you're
wrong.
And
He
4
has-
if you include Hawaii.
He has permission to travel.
So we went, and but before we went, Julia was like, "Hey, could you just check and see if there's any documents?" And I went online. I was like, "Okay, this is the stuff we need to bring." Great.
Yeah.
Got in the car. We go there, and then we realized that I just looked up what you need to get an ID, and not like the enhanced, like
boy.
renew your
Oh.
passport, all that kind of stuff. And so we didn't end up renewing it or getting a new license or anything like that. And so the reason I was late is because, and this is kind of heavy, guys.
Here we go.
Oh,
I committed a crime.
What?
Mike.
Not our sweet Mike.
You mean when you stole my heart?
Well, I committed 2 crimes.
Oh, damn.
The crime I committed and the reason I was late. So, okay. I drove here and I have an expired license.
Oh,
Guys.
Mike.
Oh.
And the reason I was late is because my car has a headlight out.
No.
And I was
Oh, Mike.
I was trying to frantically figure out how to buy or like take out the headlight and replace it. And I went to Fred Meyer's to get a headlight because they
Yeah.
always have the right headlight.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike.
Oh, no, Mike.
No.
And they had the right headlight, but they had like the super enhanced like xenon fire whatever bullshit, and it was like $80. And I was like,
extreme bulb or whatever.
yeah, and I was like, fuck this. And so, because I was trying to avoid driving home with one headlight with a expired license.
Fair.
Right.
Double whammy.
Yeah, got there, didn't have it, got some rosé though.
Oh, nice.
Without
Great.
a license.
Without a license, and then came over here and
Crime
here we
number
are.
3.
Yep.
I have to admit, I thought that was going a different direction.
Where'd you think it was going?
I thought you gotten pulled over.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were going to. I was like, dang, he
No.
It actually
really
would
late.
be like if you get pulled over with an expired license, depending on the cop, it's not really like
They'd be like, go
worst
get your
thing.
license renewed.
Especially if it's close to your birthday.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. But I was still nervous enough about like the headlight driving back at night that I was like
But
frantically.
buying alcohol without a license probably worse
No.
than.
I have a passport.
Oh,
I can buy
You had
alcohol.
it with you?
Yeah, I brought my passport.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I didn't break that law. I only broke one law, and that's driving, and I'm going to break it twice tonight.
oh, Mike, you bad boy.
So moral of the story, I did not get pulled over.
Yet you haven't made your return trip yet.
Yep.
We'll hear about that on the next episode.
Or I'll if I get pulled over, I'll record a little like thing on my phone, be like, "Hey guys, I got pulled over."
Yeah, I don't want you to get pulled over, but it would be better for the show.
Yeah,
Okay.
and if
If
you
you
could
could.
record the whole encounter with the officer,
Ooh.
explaining that you were coming from the podcast and that you have
Yeah.
to record this for the podcast.
Yes.
Can we take a quick detour here
Yeah.
down memory lane to the time that you got pulled over?
Yeah, that's a way better story.
So, let's just forget that Mike ever told that shitty story about him going
Let's just move
to get
on.
a pressure washer where nothing happened.
Something did happen. It's fine.
So you can help me fill in the blanks here. Maybe you should even take over this one. But the way I remember this is that we were in early high school
Yes.
where we had all three, you, me, and Phil,
Mhm.
had just turned 16 or even maybe 17.
Yeah, it was like we were like fresh into getting. It wasn't our licenses. It was the
The learner's, it wasn't the learner's permit, but that first 6 months of when you
Yes.
get the license, you
Yep.
have it, but you can't have people in the car with you.
That are under 21, I think,
Right.
that are not family members.
Yeah.
and on top of that, because what it was is that you can't have those people in the car between 12 and 5 a.m.
Yes.
You can't be driving at all, I thought.
yeah.
No.
The
You can drive.
Okay.
The curfew
No.
was
So
like
so it's,
12 or-
I think okay. If we really want to get into it, I think the first 6 months is nobody but like family and people under 21.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
get into it.
And then the
curfew.
second 6 months is you can drive people, but there's still a like midnight to 5 a.m. 'Cause
You're right.
And obviously, this is all really Washington specific stuff.
And it's pretty crucial for the story.
It is. That's right. Because we were out and we, in high school, we were pretty like straight lace.
We were the cool kids.
We did not go to parties by our own choice.
Well, I mean,
because we were invited.
Chase was the cool kid.
yeah.
You guys were really cool.
We were cool.
Yeah.
We didn't go to parties, not because we weren't invited, because we didn't want to go.
We didn't need to go.
We didn't drink.
That's
we
why
didn't
we're
smoke.
doing this podcast right now.
Exactly. We did wholesome community activities.
Yeah, we played a lot of Guitar Hero,
Halo.
and Halo.
And we went to
We hung
Fred
out-
Meyer.
We hung out at parks sometimes.
Yep.
We went to parks. We got in more trouble going to parks doing absolutely
yeah.
innocent stuff.
That's correct.
We had way more encounters with police officers at parks sober than anybody probably had from Bothell High who had done any sort of drug or drink.
I mean, and to be fair, we were there after dusk.
Yeah,
when
I
they
mean, we were doing
closed.
really bad
I
naughty
mean,
things.
Another law broken.
So tisk. But truly, the run-ins I had with cops as a teenager was because we're at a park past dusk.
There's one. This is going to be a tangent, but there's one thing I remember from when Ian came for the first time. Ian is our
Yes.
Canadian friend.
Yes.
And we were at a park in Monroe, and it was like 1:00 in the morning. And there had been a call to the cops because I think we were making noise, but they were actually looking
Yeah.
for someone, like 2 meth addicts who were like either making out or doing drugs in like
Or both.
the play palace.
And it wasn't us.
that was on the park.
But it
they were,
could have been us,
up
though.
in like the
The jungle gym
They were
area.
up in the
Yeah.
jungle gym, and we knew that they were there, and we just kind of ignored them, and we were playing a game.
we
And
were playing Hot Lava Monster.
well, Grounders, the Canadian version.
Which is effectively Hot Lava Monster.
It's Hot Lava
And it's a
Monster.
great game.
And we are 16, 17.
But hold
no,
on.
this is after.
There's
high
we're
school.
graduate. We're in college, but it is actually fairly dangerous because we're blindfolded and we're climbing around in a jungle gym.
But that's besides the point.
I mean,
Anyway,
it's badass.
so the point is, Ian, this cop comes and he like asks us for our IDs, and then Ian shows him his either his Canadian ID and passport or whatever. But like Ian makes some move towards the cop. And the cop backed up so quickly and put his hand over his gun that I thought
wanted
Ian
to, like,
was
shake
gonna
his hand or
die.
something?
because Ian's making this real kind of schmoozy thing because the cop's trying to like assess the situation, and Ian's like natural inclinations to go up to him and be like, hey buddy, we're just hanging out at the park
Yeah.
doing our thing. Like, what's up? What's going on? We're just hanging out and being fun. And so he's kind of like swaggering over to him, kind of with his hand out, like he's
Yep.
going to try and pat him on the back.
Yep.
Because he's a big like back toucher. Like when he talks to people, he comes and he touches you on the shoulder.
Yeah.
And he holds you on the shoulder. And so he's going to try and do it on the cop. And the cop took like you said, he swiveled back and he pivoted and
hand.
put his hand towards the gun. And I'm like, we're about to see.
An international incident.
Yes.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
And Ian said something to the effect of like, "Oh no, I'm not going for your gun." And
He specifically said that.
When he said that, the cop was like, "Okay." And I think that even made it worse.
Yeah.
Of course it did.
Yeah, it was weird.
But we ended up because they're like, we ratted the 2 meth heads out.
Yeah, we did.
And and they were like, "Okay, you can just keep hanging out."
They let us go.
Yeah, we traded information to get out
Yeah.
free.
We snitched.
yeah, that's right.
We had to go into witness
So
protection
if
after
you
that.
2 meth heads are listening, we live in Kansas now.
Funny detail to that story too. The cop showed up no less than 1 minute after Ian had just taken a shit in the park trash can.
Oh, wow.
then-
Desperate times.
And then
Yeah.
Ian said, as the cop was leaving, "Hey, those 2, they shit in the trash can too."
yeah, you should go check that out.
Yeah, you should really check that out.
Okay, so backing up one tangent.
Yep.
Good kids, no partying. We spent a lot of time just driving around the town of Monroe, and
Yeah.
Monroe is this kind of out of the way farming town.
Yep.
Where my family lived, and the rest of you guys all lived in Bothell, which is more just kind of like suburbia.
Yep.
So Monroe is kind of this weird place where we just kind of hung out and drove
It was our
around, and
getaway.
just did really nothing. We hung out with Fred Meyer, and we were out just literally killing time. We had nothing to do. We were playing video games. We left probably to go get like Mountain Dew or something stupid.
Right.
And
No, we left to it was a mix. It was Mountain Dew and Cheetos.
right, classic combination.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we left and we were just like out killing time. We got the Cheetos, we're driving around, and as we're driving around, we noticed that a cop had somebody pulled over because
Yep.
through Monroe runs this road called Highway 2, which is just very heavily policed.
Yes.
And so we saw somebody get pulled over, and we're literally about to go just turn around and go home because we just grabbed our shit and we're like, oh, let's go check out what that dude did. Like,
Yeah.
like let's go see if he's getting thrown in the back of the car.
Yeah.
And so what we do is Mike's in the driver's seat.
Yep.
We have me and Phil, and we go on the Highway 2, and we kind of flip a U-turn at the next light to get up next to the cop.
And it was a legal
You
UE.
guys
it was
flipped a
it was
UE
like
too?
it was
a
like
legal
legal
UE.
It was legal.
It was marked.
Right.
Yeah, and so we drove past just to like see, and I'm sure we all just were like, "Whoa, what's that?" As we're kind of like going by, and we drive past, and the cop like books it back into his car, ditches whoever he just pulled over, swings out,
Oh, jeez.
and turns his lights on behind us, pulls us into Blockbuster at the time.
R.I.P.
Yeah, and he comes up and he's like, "So, you know why he pulled you over?" I was like, "No, officer." He's like,
you have a headlight out.
No, nope, nope,
No?
nope. It was your license plate light is out."
Right.
What?
Oh, that's
Right.
right.
That's a bunch of
It
bullshit.
was even worse.
That's
Yes, the license plate light was out, and he's like, "What are you guys doing out right now?" and okay, so the other detail that was forgotten in the story is it was 11:30. I was a rule follower. The curfew was at midnight.
We all were.
And we knew that we could go to the store and get back, and we had plenty of time. It was literally like 11:40 when we got pulled over.
Yep.
And so the guy comes up, we're having this conversation, and then he's like, "So what are you guys doing out?" And I was like, "Oh, we just got some Mountain Dew and Cheetos," and we literally like hold up the Safeway bag, like it's right here, and he goes, "Just Cheetos." like he was trying to insinuate that we were like high or something. Like I remember it was just like so awkward and strange. And then he took the license and registration, went back to his car to like check on stuff. And we're just kind of like laughing to ourselves because we're like, this is insane.
We're
like,
cracking jokes.
Yeah, we're cracking jokes. We're like all like, I mean,
Like the future podcasters you are.
Yeah, we're clearly nothing's happening. It's not a big deal. But the guy takes 25 minutes before he comes back.
Ass. What a total ass.
What a total dick.
And then he comes back at like 12:05 and he says, "Do you know what time it is?"
Fuck that guy.
It's ridiculous.
And we're like, "It's 12:05."
This dude's trying to make quota of tickets he's giving out.
And so he was like, "So you have a curfew, so you're not supposed to be out past 12." And then I'm like, "But it's because you've been holding us here," and he like wouldn't accept it. Like,
yeah.
And so I ended up getting like a $400 ticket.
Oh God, that's way more than I thought it was.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it may have been like $350, but it was like
That's still ridiculous.
It was high. And so then he's like, "You guys going straight home?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And then so this was like a big deal. Obviously, we even went farther. I think Andrew, your mom got like super invested, super pissed.
Oh, yeah, she was mad.
She was very upset. And when I called my dad and like explained the whole thing to him, he's very like, or at least at that time, very like black and white, like, but you were out past midnight. You shouldn't have taken that risk, kind of thing. Like, you know, technically you were like, he didn't come down on me or anything, but he just wasn't as passionate as Debbie was, Andrew's mom.
Yeah.
And I remember we actually had like called the police station and had the cop like come, or had the cops like officer, supervisor or whatever, come to our house and like explain things.
What? Oh yeah, I forgot about
come
this.
to your house.
Shit.
Yeah, because it was like such a clearly bullshit scenario. Like, because we literally got pulled out. I mean, he held us for 25 minutes.
Mhm.
Like there was no getting around it, and it was a license plate light. It wasn't like anything was going on.
Right.
We weren't drunk. We had not been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember like literally, I remember Debbie making this like case to the officer's supervisor about what good boys we are
At your house.
at my house. And I remember because the detail about my dad is that he just was like kind of like, I don't want to be a part of this. Like it was, I don't know why it was at my house, and like
But we were all there.
we were all there, and I
Wow.
think like all of our parents were there, and I think my dad was just kind of like, you know, whatever. But Debbie was just making this great case for why we were such good boys. And then I made an appeal, and I actually couldn't make it to the court for hearing or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And they brought it down $150. So
What? Wait, what? Fuck. God damn it.
I still had to pay like $200.
There are so many. Okay, I know that like our experiences with cops as young kids are probably not like the worst in the world.
No.
Especially like in light of like,
no, like it's more funny to me.
we grew, but like
It wasn't unsafe.
the bullshit that like cops would do. Like we were driving with four of us in a car one time. It was like 11 o'clock through downtown Bothell, and this was on like a weekend, and I stopped at a four-way stop, like totally stopped, and then continued to drive, and a cop pulled us over.
I was there for that too.
Yep.
And the cop pulls us over, and I'd never been pulled over before. And I was like, oh my God, what the fuck? And I'm like, okay, I gotta get my insurance, I gotta get my license. He's like, do you know why I pulled you over? And I was like, no. He was like, you rolled through that stop after I clearly had stopped, because I saw the fucking cop behind me. Like, I'm gonna roll through it. So then he's like, okay, yeah, wait here. And then he like is checking something, and then he gets a like call over his walkie-talkie or whatever. He's like, all right, I gotta go. And then he just hops in his car and turns his lights on and books it away.
Saved by the Bell.
It's like the shit that they do to kids it's so ridiculous.
I remember thinking
it makes
I think we all were like, Peter's got to get a ticket at some point. just because you're a herky jerky driver, at least at that time. Because I remember you stopped.
yeah.
Because I remember it was like you stopped. I was like, boom,
Full on the brakes.
it's
it
like
took
stock,
me-
and then you probably like accelerated.
The thing I remember from that is I remember him specifically telling you like, kind of like as a lesson, he's like, I just want you guys to be safe. I want you guys to make it home safe. That's why I stopped you. Not because as he's on his way out, he's like, I just want you guys to make it home safe.
I don't remember.
I remember that being like, yes, it was annoying, but I feel like he was also taking it as like, these are young kids. I want to be
I
like, I
remember
want to make an
being-
impression.
I remember him being just a total. All that resulted in is all my experiences with cops when I was a teenager and like a young college student resulted in me thinking like, yeah, fuck that cop. He's gonna pull me over for something stupid. I don't trust him. And like that's just, the granted the one time I have gotten a ticket, I was going like 30 miles over the speed limit.
Nice.
Fair.
But I was driving to church because I was late.
Oh.
And I told him that. And he was, once he heard that, he was like, oh, I'm dropping it down then. Because it was going to be $1,000 ticket.
Oh my god.
Because I was going 30 miles over the speed limit and my tabs were expired. And I
Oh,
also
nice.
didn't have my insurance.
Oh
on my
my
car.
God, that's great. That's
Triple
great.
threat.
And I was like, yeah. So, and he was like, well, where are you going? And I was like, well, I'm trying to get to church because this was like 6 a.m. I'm trying to get to church to help him set up. And he was like, oh,
sure.
all right, just a second. He comes back. He's like, this would have been $1,000 ticket, but you're going to have to pay $200. And I was like, I'll take that deal.
200 deal.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. What I got one last small tangent.
Please.
Just reminded me. 'Cause
Yeah.
Another time that the cops found us at a park after dusk when it had closed was at Log Boom Park, and I think it was just Andrew, Peter, and I.
So Log Boom Park is on Lake Washington, right?
Yeah.
Where it's just like a little dock that we always go hang out on
It's,
because it's kind of
kids
like
call it makeout dock.
Yeah, we.
That's right.
We'd
That's
go
right.
there, and I think that this time when we were there, we must have parked in. Did we park
inside the gate.
Yeah, we parked inside the gate, and the
Amateur.
cops came. Like the park ranger must have come and saw the car, and then didn't know what to do. Called the cops. Cops came and like had us like sit on the hood, like it was like a whole like police
yeah.
scenario. Like they had to go like search around. Like one stayed with us with like a flashlight on us, and the other went like and searched around for any like paraphernalia or whatever. We're like, you're not gonna
Find anything.
literally you're not gonna find anything. Maybe some Cheetos, maybe some Mountain Dew.
That's about it.
Some ground up Cheeto dust.
Yeah. But it was every single time we were just at a park
Yep.
doing dumb shit, except for when we were on the road.
Except the one time I was speeding without insurance and my tab
Besides,
expired.
yeah.
Besides
There's
that, we've never done anything wrong.
Totally earned.
I still dispute that ticket.
To this day.
I didn't deserve it.
You're
but
still
I got
disputing it.
to this day.
Yep.
I had him come to my house and my mom told him what a good boy I was.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
You are a good boy.
Thanks, Papa.
So I'm going to make the executive decision to bump the Change My Mind segment to the next episode. So stay tuned for that.
Perfect.
But to end out this
Thank
episode,
God.
I know. Dodged a bullet.
Can I make you change your mind about getting that
Or
segment?
did we already make you change your
Oh,
mind about
maybe.
change your mind this segment?
That's
Ooh,
better.
Meta.
Can I change your mind about releasing this episode?
You don't have to change my mind about that. It's already been made up. We're the only people that are going to hear this.
Sick.
Let's close out the episode with a round of
Prayer.
one of my personal favorite segments, historical truths or dare,
Or
Thank you. Thanks, Andrew.
with Jim Charters.
Featuring Jim Charters?
Feet Jim Charters. And Chainsmokers.
Show those feet.
Well, welcome back, Podworms, Core 4, Core 3. As I'm not going to be counted myself in this episode of
Oh,
Historical Truths or
no.
Dare. As usual, I'll be hosting the segment.
Okay.
Today, we'd like to play Historical Truths or Dare, the month of May edition.
Ooh, I love the month of May. Did I tell you guys it was my birthday?
Oh, happy birthday, Mike.
So all of these historical,
fucking shit.
all of these historical scenarios are May themed.
All right.
Oh.
Yes,
I see where you're coming from.
Oh.
So,
okay.
as I've explained before in Historical Truths or Dare, I will give you 4 scenarios, and you will have to decide which one is made up and which ones are true.
All
That's
right.
exciting. Let's get it. Let's
Perfect.
just jump in.
Let's jump into it.
Yeah.
All right, folks. So I'll go through all of them, and then you guys can make your judgments.
Cool.
So the first one is called The Origin of May Day. That's the call for help. May Day, May Day.
Okay.
Not the
When
day
we
May.
when we say Mayday in an emergency, there's a simpler story that has nothing to do with pagans or workers' rights. The word, which is an internationally recognized as an announcement for distress, sounds much like the French "Médaise," which translates to "help me." The use of Mayday as an emergency call was proposed by a man named Frederick Stanley Mockford, who worked as a radio operator in London Airport in the 1920s. His proposal of the anglicized French expression was predicated on the frequent air traffic between England and France at the time. By the end of the decade, the distress call had already been adopted around much of the globe.
Can I vote to shoot myself?
Vetoed.
Mayday,
Go ahead, Jim.
Mayday.
Mayday, isn't that? Has anybody seen *Handmaid's Tale*?
No.
Okay,
What's that?
that's a show. I think that Mayday is the name of the.
Handmade?
No, it's like the group of handmaids that are like.
This is compelling audio. Mike brings up the show.
Something that
First of all,
he may or may not know.
First of all, none of us have seen it. Second of all, even Mike doesn't know the reference.
He has no
he's
idea.
making. Were you hoping that we were going to say yes and then fill in the blanks for you?
Yes.
No, I've never even watched that show.
Okay, Jim, what's the answer?
What's the answer?
What's the answer?
I guess I assumed someone would watch it.
Well,
Mike, that-
Mayday's also a hench woman in one of the James Bond movies.
Was
I can't
it
remember which
A or
one.
Oh,
B?
that must have been what Mike was thinking about, right?
Yeah,
that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
stop thinking about those Bond women.
Yeah.
So,
You
all right.
pervert.
The next one.
Sorry, guys.
Let's get some girls in here. Hey, that's what Mike's thinking.
Just like that asshole that I sat next to on the bus. Fucking all you guys can only think about
You
women.
should. You know what you should do? You should save up some money, make the full transition, find him, and say, "What do you think now?"
And then say, you're not getting this.
I just never sit next to him.
Never
and
again.
then turn and walk my hot ass away.
And that lady
right.
will keep laughing.
All right, Jim, number 2.
Number 2 is called The Maypole Ban Lifted. In May 1975, the state of Massachusetts finally lifted the ban on raising the maypole, which had been first enacted by the Puritans of Plymouth Colony in 1627.
Okay.
Miles Standish, that well-known Puritan, accompanied by America's first vice squad, interrupted May Day revels, including the colony's first maypole raising. The party was subsequently described by Plymouth Governor William Bradford as the beastly practices of the mad Bacchanalians.
Yes.
The said revelers were placed in the stocks in the center of Plymouth Colony and were made to do penance for the rest of the year by hard labor. Even though the law hadn't been enforced since the 18th century, Massachusetts Governor Michael Dukakis had this to say about the maypole ban.
Oh, Mikey.
We've come a long way from the Mayflower days, and I believe we can let the citizens of Massachusetts celebrate May Day any way they please.
You know that's the reason he lost the 1988 presidential election.
Because he was like totally
Yeah.
down with May Day.
What an asshole.
The maypole. Isn't that the thing where you have the streamers and you run
The
around it?
maypole? No, Aunt May from.
Is this a Handmaid's Tale thing again?
Yeah, I think it's the group of handmaids that the conspiracy.
It's the strip club in the show. It's the
Oh
maypole.
yeah.
Yeah.
That part's so cool.
So this is the Crown Jewels heist. In May 1671, Colonel Thomas Blood embarked on a scheme, the theft of the Crown Jewels.
No.
In order to accomplish this feat, Blood disguised himself as a parson and visited the Tower of London with an accomplice who played the role of his wife. The jewel housekeeper at the time was a 76-year-old ex-soldier by the name of Talbot Edwards, who lived with his family in the Tower of London. Blood succeeded in gaining Edward's confidence and even suggested that a marriage be arranged between his nephew, quote unquote, and Edward's daughter. On the day of the robbery, Blood brought his nephew, who is in fact his son, and 2 other friends to meet Edwards at his home. Blood explained that his wife would be coming soon, and whilst waiting for her arrival, requested that Edward show them the crown jewels. The unsuspecting keeper complied and escorted them down to the basement where the treasure was kept. Once at the bottom of the stairs, he was beaten with a mallet, bound, and gagged. Blood used the mallet to flatten the crown, St. Edward's crown, so he could hide it beneath his clerical coat. Another conspirator, Blood's brother-in-law Hunt, filed the scepter with the cross in 2 because it did not fit in their bag, while the third man, Perot, stuffed the sovereign's orb in his trousers.
Wow.
Blood and his accomplices would have gotten away had the alarm not been raised. According to one version, it was the keeper, having to manage to free his gag, who raised the alarm by shouting, "Murder, treason, the crown is stolen." Another version states that it was Edward's son who alerted the guards to the theft. In their haste to escape, the scepter was dropped and several jewels went missing. In any case, the thieves were caught and held in Tower London. Blood refused to speak to anyone except for the king, and his wish was granted. The king may have feared an uprising and revenge by his followers. Others speculate that King had a fondness for audacious scoundrels such as Blood, and that he was amused by the Irishman's claim that the jewels were worth only £6,000, as opposed to £100,000 at which the crown had valued them. There's also a suggestion that the king was flattered and amused by Blood's revelation that he had previously intended to kill him while he was bathing in the Thames, and had been swayed otherwise, having found himself in awe of majesty. It has also been suggested that his actions may have had the connivance of the king because the king was really short on cash at the time.
Okay, there's no one here who really believes that Jim didn't write that, right? I mean, that was
Wait, hold on. That's the
that
last.
was so like what's the point of even playing the rest of this, Jim? Are we good to stop now? Are we good to stop now?
I think so.
That was Jim.
That was the leaked script of the last Game of Thrones episode.
That was it.
Or
All
was
right.
it the leaked script of the next Handmaid's Tale? Mike?
Yeah,
The Handmaid's Jewels.
yeah. I think the plot is there's like a
There's
conspiracy.
an orb in someone's
group.
pants.
Yeah, yeah.
You know
yeah.
what I kind of expected from that one? You know those, I hate these jokes, but it's like a really drawn out joke and there's
The
very
Shaggy Dog story.
not exactly, well kind of. So the Shaggy Dog is like it goes on forever and ever and has no fucking point, which true, yes, I kind of was like that, but I'm talking about the one where where it has a bunch of like very specific names, and then at the end it has like some stupid pun where all the
Right.
names in succession. It's like the cock, like a wet. Oh, that was Kevin's story, where it's like a wet pussy makes a cock
What
happy,
the
or
Oh, yeah.
or is that you? Were you
No,
remember
yeah,
that one?
Yeah, that
jokes,
was
the
the story.
jokes.
Yeah,
It's like a stupidly long setup for a really
like it just
Dumb
does
joke.
really
a
dumb.
pun that does not pay off.
Yeah.
That's what I thought that was going to be, but I couldn't figure it out in my head. So okay, let's go to
Right.
number 4.
So
It's
this
just
is
a historical truth or dare.
This
Oh.
last one is Kellogg's Flakes.
Okay.
When Dr. John Kellogg applied for a patent for his flaked cereal on the 31st of May, 1895, his interest wasn't in providing a delicious choice for the breakfast table. In his book, Plain Facts for Old and Young, Embracing the Natural History of Hygiene and Organic Life, he described 39 different symptoms which he said were caused by masturbation. These included epilepsy, acne, bad posture, stiff joints, infirmity, poor development, fickleness, and palpitations. He believed that a healthy lifestyle could cure most ailments. Meat and rich or flavored foods increase sexual desire, he said. While working as a physician at Battle Creek Sanitarium in Michigan, he developed a range of breakfasts he believed would prevent a person from pleasuring themselves. First, he made granula, a cereal made where oats and corn were baked and then ground in tiny pieces. Under the threat of legal action from another company who was already making the same product under the same name, Mr. Kellogg changed the name of his invention to granola. And finally, Mr. Kellogg developed a range of decidedly plain cereals, including cornflakes, which he believed would also dampen the desire for masturbation. He partnered with his brother Will, a businessman who later added sugar to cornflakes and went on to found the Kellogg Company. Mr. John Kellogg renounced this recipe, and the brothers were embroiled in a feud for decades.
First of all, I have epilepsy, so obviously I'm masturbating too much. Second of all,
Yep.
According to Dr. Kellogg, yes, that's right.
Second of all, I've never eaten a bowl of any Kellogg cereal and not wanted to just furiously beat one off afterwards.
I look at Tony the Tiger, like I have to actually tape with duct tape. I have to tape up the image of him.
Yeah.
Actually, I have Emily do it. I have to be in another aisle. I say, Emily, get the Tony, but tape it up for me because I
That's right.
can't be tempted.
Andrew when he walks down the cereal aisle. He literally puts blinders.
Literally, I've been rock hard since Jim said granola.
You know, I noticed that, but I didn't want to comment.
Yeah.
But
Why is your penis out?
But let me
You
know,
should
Mike.
not have worn shorts.
I know.
Yeah.
I
I'm not
noticed.
ashamed of it anymore.
I noticed.
Take the power out.
I love granola.
Well, go ahead, Mike.
Just like I feel like we very quickly went over those and they're very condensed. But could you just give me like a quick highlight?
Of course. As always, I'll give you a highlight of all four.
Please
Yeah.
no.
The first one was the origin of Mayday, as in a plane calling Mayday
Yep.
in the air.
Yep.
Okay.
The second one was the lifting of the Maypole celebration ban
Yep.
in Massachusetts.
Okay.
The third was when Colonel Thomas Blood tried to steal the crown jewels of England.
Yep, the fake one.
And the fourth was Dr. John Kellogg invents a masturbation cure using cornflakes.
Yep.
So if there's one thing I know about historical truths or dare, is that the fake one is always just one that Jim has changed one very small, inconsequential detail of. Where a guy's name
That's not always true, but it
Used to-
has happened.
used to be John and he called him Jack.
Yep.
Okay, we haven't gone that low.
Or actually, it wasn't 1922, it was 1921.
So are we? But
So-
That's a big deal, though. I mean, 1921
be
was
fair,
a completely different year.
There were a lot of different things going on. So I think our best strategy here is to cover the bases
Right.
and to each go with a different one.
all right, I'll go with the first one.
I'm gonna go with the third one because I feel like it was probably the longest and had the most details, and more details means more opportunities to
Ooh.
just switch one of them right up.
To bamboozle us.
Oh.
Okay. I'm going to go with the Kellogg's Frosted Flakes.
Yeah.
They're more than
They're
good.
more than frosted.
They're great.
Well, boys, I really hope that you would get this, but
All
all
of
of
us
you were
get-
wrong again.
That is honestly amazing. How is that possible?
Wait,
It
which
was-
one did I pick?
You
picked the first
picked the
one,
first
Mayday.
one. You picked Origin of Mayday.
I didn't even remember what that was.
It was the Maypole?
The Maypole ban was completely fake. The whole story was
Oh.
made up.
You wrote the whole
I
story?
wrote the whole story.
All right.
Oh fuck!
Jim actually wrote a story.
Damn it.
All right.
It's not the first time. The last one was a cop out. I'll give you that.
I remember the one
I was
about the
very
pizza
busy.
in space where it was a
Yeah, that one
pepperoni.
was. That one was.
It wasn't Domino's,
It was. Pizza Hut.
Can we just talk about
That
that?
one was pretty
Can we
fucked up.
talk about that for a second? We go through 15 minutes of this historical truths or dare, and the big twist is that it wasn't Little Caesars, it was Papa John's. But yes, the pizza was still set. The core of the story, yes, that was true. But the brand, no, it was Pizza Hut.
No, and I apologize for giving you that cheap of content.
Well, if you like the show, if you want to be the new host of the show, send us a pod mail, PW
send us an edition tape, please.
Oh yes,
Yes.
If you can record over Andrew's parts of an episode and just fill in for him and leave all of us still in the track, that secures your spot.
that, my friend, you might have a shot.
Yep.
Send it over to pwspacecast@gmail.com. You can follow all of our social media, Podworms Spacecast.
Yep.
You can go to our website, podwormspacecast.com.
That's our website.
Is it pwspacecast.com?
That's right.
Yep.
Something like
Check
that.
one of those. Tour dates coming soon. Join us at the barbecue sous vide, grill, bake, and bikini waxing.
Yep.
That's coming up soon. Details to follow.
Very soon.
And if you like the show, most importantly, share the show with a friend, share it with a loved one, share it with a coworker, share it with
A construction worker.
share it with a construction worker. Absolutely.
Please.
Share
And
it with an enemy.
most importantly, until next time, space fans,
Keep squirming.
Throw it in your face, cast. Podworm Space Cast. Get a little taste, cast. Podworm Space Cast. Throw it in your face, cast. Podworm Space Cast. Get a little taste, cast.
I think the whole neighborhood is going to be excited about this episode.
I hope so.
I think
agree.
so too.